Rich Strani here with TMC. Thanks for watching. We're at ITEXPO 2014 in Las Vegas, Nevada. John Reardon is with us. He's with OnSip. And John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, our pleasure. I was hoping we start at the beginning here, like I like to do with these interviews, and get some feedback on your company, what you're up to, what are some of the new things?
Sure. OnSip has been around for about a decade, and we got started sort of under the philosophy that we were going to help enterprises move voice communication and real-time communication generally more onto the internet, with the notion that we could deliver them better performance for a lower price over a long period. And so here we are today. We're focused largely on WebRTC here today. And at this show, we've been working with WebRTC for about 2 years now. And we view it as a feature that will enable us to deliver more value to our enterprise customers.
Great. How do you do that exactly?
Well, so WebRTC for us is enabling a set of features that are new, that allow our enterprise customers to reach their customers more effectively, deliver a better experience. So example would be, the prototypical example that people talk about a lot comes from Amazon Mayday is an example people are using. The notion is that if you've got customers out on the internet, you can, while they're at your website, you can allow them to contact you in a way that's efficient and effective, delivering HD voice calls, video calls, as well as the context that they're in to your people inside your enterprise. So we're enabling enterprises to provide Amazon Mayday-like experience to their customers. And that's an example. But there are a whole host of other examples that WebRTC is enabling. That's the short of it.
So are there any other changes you're seeing in the communication space besides WebRTC that we should be aware of?
Well, that's a broad, open question. Well, the communication space is constantly evolving and changing. It's been something that's been going on for a long period of time. The ideas behind HD voice in general, we're seeing more and more of that. That's been around for a while now, but the experience is becoming more familiar for people. The quality of the calls is something that provides a better experience for somebody. Seeing calls come in more over the top on cellular networks and over the internet as well, moving more communication that way. A whole host of sort of unique applications that were largely undoable are becoming doable.
So I wanted to flip around the question and ask you a different way. We'll touch on some of the same topics, I'm sure, but if I'm a viewer out there watching, what are some of the pain points or the pain that you take away from me so I don't have to deal with these issues anymore? Can you list some of those so that they would know to call you and potentially be a customer?
Sure. So ultimately, if you're interested in utilizing WebRTC to develop a new channel to do communication, whether it's internal to your enterprise or with your enterprise customers, and you start to travel down that path, there's a lot of heavy lifting that's been done now, thanks to the WebRTC initiatives. Google and Mozilla putting a lot of great code inside these browsers. On the mobile front, there's an expectation that on Android later this year, with the release of Lollipop, you'll start to see a lot of native Android applications being able to leverage this. But while the barrier to entry there and the cost to get started has dropped dramatically, there are still issues that need to be addressed when you want to roll this out in sort of a production environment. Ultimately, there's a build versus buy issue that comes up. There's back-end infrastructure that needs to be deployed to handle signaling, as well as media issues with regards to NAT traversal and firewall handling. And there are lots of solutions out there, more and more coming out every day. And you can acquire and license the equipment and run it and operate it yourself if you want to deploy these solutions, or you can go to a third party and outsource it to a cloud-based solution. OnSip provides one of these cloud-based service to allow you to leverage that. So we own and operate a SIP network that allows us to deliver robust 24/7 high-performance services as opposed to building it and operating it yourself. WebRTC, one of the challenges for us has been working with developers. Web developers are a new group of people who are now tackling communications and bringing it into their applications, and we've been working with them as ultimately an end user, effectively.
And sorry if I missed it, but are you selling globally?
We are selling globally. We're focused in the U.S. and North America at the moment, and we've been doing more and more global stuff. Our company historically has provided a hosted PBX service, and we're using WebRTC there too to integrate with call center solutions there. And our hosted PBX solution has largely been focused in the U.S.
So, final question I want to ask: what's next, and anything else that we might have missed about your company?
We'll see what's next. I don't know. I mean, the WebRTC has been the focus for us at the moment. We've got a lot of interesting ideas coming down the pipe. There are a lot of vertical areas that can take advantage of this. Particularly, we're seeing interest in healthcare and potentially gaming as well. To give us examples, I mean, but the list goes on. So. One of the areas we're focusing on is, as opposed to targeting developers directly in a broad way, looking to provide specific solutions targeted at particular verticals. And that's where I think our focus is going to be.
So basically like a law firm or a doctor or something like that?
We've been seeing, an example would be, well, here's an example even in a different vertical. We're working with people who are delivering calls to talk radio shows. So the experience for a talk radio show now, radio is effectively HD in a lot of cases, but historically the callers have been coming in over traditional telephone calls. The quality of those calls has been dramatically and noticeably lower than the quality of the radio show itself. People are interested in delivering the calls to the radio stations over the internet using HD codecs. And delivering it from their websites and mobile applications.
That's really a great idea, great concept, because I know a lot of my radio stations that I listen to, a lot of talk radio I listen to, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
That and cell phones.
Yes. And so that's an example of sort of a targeted niche, but healthcare as well, law firms, mentoring systems in general, places where people are trying to connect to experts to have a session remotely. A lot of video functionality.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on the program. This was wonderful.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate
Nice to see you.